alongside Roy Ogletree.
Hello.
The Tuesday, I don't know. I got nothing. Nothing. I was trying to think of another Tuesday thing.
Well, it is historically the worst day of the week.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wednesday, you start to feel like you've turned the corner.
Right.
Monday is the start, which, everybody, I think, I agree with you. I think Tuesdays are better.
People, it's a mindset thing a little initially, but, most of the time, people, I hate going back into the office or whatever, but that's because you had Sunday scaries. But a lot of the times, I think people have sort of redirected to be like, all right, I'm juiced for this week. I'm ready to go. Let's go. And then Tuesday hits and you're like, I have 4 more days of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is awful.
You know what's changed my perspective on days was you and I work in media, so like the normal week of Monday through Friday. Now, since I've been here, I've gotten many more Saturdays and Sundays to myself. And that's lovely. But when I'm like you're running all over going all these games and high school games and this game and that game and all these things, people are like, well, you got big plans for the weekend? I'm like, Sunday evening at about 6:30 I should be home. So I guess Game of Thrones might be on.
Yeah, I'm going to have a scotch and cry.
Yeah,
it's it's
just over. And then when do you take, during football season, I used to work 7 days a week. Garrett was like this. We used to work 7 days a week for about 10 weeks, 12 weeks. And then it's like, whew.
Especially if you have a dedicated team that you have to follow or, like here, college range true. But, used to be the home network for the Waco Colleen area for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So you had to go and cover those games as well? It sucks.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But at the end of it,
this is just now dudes convincing you that we're actually okay.
But you need how you feel. The media is not very good at hiding their feelings anymore. But it's fun when teams keep winning. Because you're getting to do cool things and you're in places that you weren't before, and it's not. But if the season ends the same way every year for several years in a row, you get to the point where you're just like, here we are again.
Which for the Cowboys.
So, here we are again. Well, what do you have to do in the offseason? Are you going to fire the coach? What about the quarterback? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, just make it stop.
Well, especially for college teams, covering – and I went to way less games last year, and for good reason, because I just kind of knew that they weren't going to be good, and I let Darby and Chad sort of handle that. But the 7 and 6 year, or the 6 and 7 year, there's nothing more demoralizing than watching the crash and burn of a team in real time, and just every single week, hey, you got to go to West Virginia. Oh, I'm only married for about a year, and all of a sudden it's telling your, new bride that, hey, I got to go to Iowa today.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. They're shipping me off to West Virginia and now UCF. And I just all in a row. There was a time where it's I would come off the plane, not even unload my DOP kit and stuff, and then get back on the plane. They had 3 road games in a row or something like that. I don't think I saw Caitlin for 3 weeks. And, and then, we talk a lot about kids skipping bowl games and whatnot. As a media member, there's nothing more demoralizing than covering a crap bowl game. Oh, I don't want to disparage any city, but, it's 0 degrees in Fort Worth. Cool, thanks. I really want to be here. And the team doesn't really want to be there either. Air Force did because they wouldn't beat the crap out of Baylor, but that sort of thing. And luckily, I got the flu before that game, so I didn't have to go. But, anyway, it's awful.
Yeah.
It really is. But it's fun, like anything. It's fun when you're succeeding. But with some other things, it's maybe I can take Monday off, I guess. But, oh, no, now the Cowboys are playing in prime time again. Crap. Football dominates and it goes nonstop. And we do that only to say when baseball season rolls around, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no.
I'm taking a 3-week vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about teams that can beat Texas, because they look really, really good right now. Now, it's early in the season. Again, they have not been even Michigan was not really a test for them. That was a test in the this is going to be hard. There's going to be a road game, but that game they could have won going back.
Yeah, I don't think Michigan is as good as they were hyped up to be. I mean, preseason rankings are always the bane of everyone's existence. It was like, well, we beat this, that, and the other team, and they could end up. Michigan could end up the year, I think, probably losing 3 or 4 games. Mm-hmm. Probably not. I think they'll probably lose 2. But, the preseason rankings are always the bane of everyone's existence and media covering the game, because we have to set the narrative that, it was a top 5 ranked road win or a top 10 ranked road win for Texas. But then you watch last week and, they beat that team pretty handily. Michigan did. What was it, 28-7 or something like that?
Yeah.
Whoever they played. I'm trying to remember. I could look it up.
Who they played before Michigan?
No. Who Michigan played this past weekend?
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Arkansas State, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, they beat, I think, Arkansas State. But it's they beat them pretty handily, but in the end, it wasn't really even that pretty of a game. So, to me, it's going through these ranked wins can be a little treacherous as you continue to go down the season, because we don't know what we don't know early in the season.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a deserved butt whooping from Texas, and they deserve the hype from that, because you went into the Big House and you trounced that team. But it also could be that Michigan isn't that good. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, let's go through the schedule. Let's go through it. Okay, they have ULM, Mississippi State off. So let's just assume that they're 5-0 going into the bye week.
Okay.
All right. Then they play Oklahoma. Now that game
always weird.
That game is always a toss-up, but I still think that, to me, that's more than most years, because they've got a depth advantage over Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's 65-35 to me. And it's only that high because that game gets weird sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Arnold's looked good. He looked really good against Tulane. Mm-hmm. But I kind of think that, what's the record been? I kind of think Sark has Venable's number.
Yeah.
Did Venable, are they 1-1 or 2-1?
1-1. I mean, no, let's see. No, Oklahoma won last year.
Did they win last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oklahoma won last year.
I retract my statement. I'm just thinking of 2 years ago when it kind of got out of hand, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. But for those of you screaming in the comments, my memory fails me a lot. But I don't know. I just look the talent. When you just look at the film, the talent on Texas, to me, especially on the offensive line, far exceeds the depth, like you said, that Oklahoma has. Mm. It could get out of hand because it always, like you said, they won last year, and that was the only game that Texas dropped until the playoff. But I just don't see a scenario where that happens. I wish I had more coaching analysis other than I just don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
And Jackson Arnold could prove to be the Messiah, which everyone, north of Dallas is hoping.
Yeah.
But he could be good and they still lose, is my whole point.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one, okay. Then they play Georgia right after that, but at home. So, I mean, I think that's going to be a doozy, and that one's 50-50.
I think this is where they drop it.
Yeah.
Look, I know that first major SEC test for, I mean, I guess you could say that Oklahoma is SEC, but that has, we're in the SEC, but that has Big 12 coded vibes all over it still, because they were all recruited to play in the Big 12 initially. But the First major SEC test. Now, if Oklahoma comes out, or not Oklahoma, if Georgia comes out and lays a stinker like they did, they can't do that.
Yeah.
Against Texas, they'll get rolled, I think, to the tune of like a 3-touchdown loss.
Yeah.
But I think, like I've said before on this show, nobody has gotten their team to eat the trash. Nobody believes in us more than Kirby Smart.
And now he's got a reason.
Yeah.
He's got a legitimate reason. They just went and almost lost to a very, very
bad Kentucky team.
Kentucky team. Like, it just, wow. I mean, a team that completed 6 forward passes the week before. So, let's think about that.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, then after Georgia, they go to Vanderbilt, which they're not going to lose to Vanderbilt more than likely, but they've got a quarterback in Diego Pavia who is really, really good and really, really kind of, tough to get over on. So I think he might, especially given the way that he plays.
He really laid an egg against Georgia State, though.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I maybe I'm just too big of a fan of his, but I do like him. Then they're off. Then they welcome Florida, who by November 9th will probably have an interim coach.
Yikes, Florida. I mean, look, that game was a mess. It didn't stop raining the entire time against Texas A&M. But deciding to just not ride with Lagway. Lagway.
Here's the thing, though. Graham Mertz was playing better than Lagway was. So I kind of get it.
Meh.
But I think if you're going to start
again, vibes coach gives you nothing.
Yeah.
Graham Mertz, no offense.
No, and look, I agree with you. Like, that's
the vibes are atrocious.
So it was bad. And Garrett, you and I are of similar thought on this. But every time that, like, Billy Napier should see the sign of, like, just go and play Lagway, he's like, well, no, Graham Mertz is the starter, and we're gonna play both of them. He went series to series with both of them. Well, now he's shortchanging both of them, especially DJ Lagway. Graham Mertz has never helped him win anything. And now, because he's going to keep doing that, like, and if Graham has a better day than DJ, he's going to be like, well, see? And you're like, well, yeah, but, like, what did that mean?
Yeah.
So what did that mean? Like, he had a better day. You still got your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
I think the only silver lining, I guess, in that for Billy Napier and his perspective is you don't really trust the team you have. You know what you are. You're not very good. Really up front with your offensive line. Do you want to risk putting DJ Lagway in a season that's automatically or pretty much going to be a wash? You're at best going to make a bowl game and risk him being injured where you could save him and kind of bring in this recruiting class next year, hope you can have some cohesion and kind of make a push next season. And that's the only way I can kind of look at that.
That's super altruistic if he has his best intentions at heart.
Yeah, but he's not
best
guaranteed to be
safety
there.
at heart for DJ Lagway. He's not going to be there.
Exactly.
And Florida's having meetings to try and fire this guy now.
Yeah.
And I think that was reported, correct?
Look, nobody knows what's exactly going on, but there's enough.
We're just having meetings to really shake
There's
hands.
enough going on to where, look, you lose to Miami as badly as you did, and then A&M comes in and dictates the game like they did.
Yeah.
Like, it's not – those games were at the Swamp. Like, that wasn't it's tough to play in Kyle Field.
I don't even think A&M played a really good game. I don't even think they played their best game against Florida.
Look, here's the other thing. A&M also rolled out a guy who'd never started a game before.
Yeah, that's true.
And knew that was pretty much going to happen.
He started the bowl game, though.
No.
Right? No?
He did not start the bowl game. You would have thought that if you missed the first play. But Jalen Henderson started the bowl game and then promptly broke his arm.
Oh, right.
And then Marcel Reed is like, he broke his what now?
After what?
You mean like right now? Yeah. I thought this might have been like a later thing, but like now? Okay. And he went in and after the first couple series was good. You know? And so he saw they've got a situation, A&M at quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say, talk about another quarterback situation. But
yeah, they've got a good problem to have, though. They've got two guys that they like as opposed to one guy that everybody likes and one guy that everybody's like, why?
For every one DJ Lagway, who I think is going to be a truly awesome quarterback, there has been 1,000 Graham Mertzes in college football.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And look, Graham Mertz, go play for Iowa Challenge. Like it just.
He's an off-brand G.I. Joe. He's there. You can play with him, but.
G.I. Bob.
Yeah. What was it? Seinfeld was Army Pete.
Army Pete.
It's made out of wood, and in the rain he would split.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Texas just bowls over Florida, to be honest with you. I truly think they go 11-1 and get into the playoff even with one loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they will drop it to Georgia. Now, Texas fans on my Twitter are riding high, saying that Georgia is Charmin soft, and they're not the Georgia teams of old. We've seen this mistake before, guys.
Yeah.
We've seen it before.
Yeah.
They're not going to I don't think they're going to have another huge challenge. Now they may come in overestimating some opponents in the SEC on the road, kind of like Georgia did this past week.
Yeah.
They're not going to have another huge game until the Texas A&M matchup.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
And then that one could get squirrely because they haven't played each
that's
other.
That's the one. They have 2 games on this schedule that not every team does. FSU does every year, and we're not talking about them. Ohio State doesn't. USC might. LSU does.
You talking about multiple rivals?
Yeah. But you have these games where it's like this, these 2 matter so much, and Texas has just had 1 for the last decade, but they always had 2 before it. And now that it's in the SEC, it's going to be that much more amplified. And this particular one, because it's at Kyle Field and it's the first one in 13 years.
I don't think you can get tickets for under $1,000 to that game.
Yeah, especially if A&M is still, even still.
Yeah.
That's if, say A&M winds up being pretty good.
Yeah.
Say that's their opportunity that's the difference between 8-4 and 9-3.
Right.
Because A&M also kind of got a Texas-esque schedule because if you look at what they have this year rolling in, they have Arkansas next week at Jerry World, which I believe is the last one. Is that the last one?
So.
I think
I hope so.
Yeah. Mizzou, that's going to be a tough one, obviously. Mississippi State, LSU, but that's at home. And in the middle of the year now, which is, I think, better for A&M than playing LSU at the end.
Yep.
Because more often than not, LSU is going to have something to play. They've only beaten LSU at the end when LSU has nothing to play for. Mm-hmm. But when LSU's had something to play for, they could play that game on the moon and they could take away LSU's spacesuits and A&M wouldn't win.
Yeah.
They'd just be floating in gravity, hurling the ball and oh, how did that happen? How did they make that work?
They have a little bit more treacherous
They've
schedule.
got moon boots, and we've got moon boots, and they don't. But South Carolina on the road is going to be tougher than I thought. But a game that's winnable.
Well, South Carolina spit the bit this weekend. I don't know if we have to talk about that or not.
Garrett's happy that they spit the bit. New Mexico State win. At Auburn should be a win. Auburn doesn't have a good quarterback, and they on their roster. And then Texas. So that should be. I'm looking at this schedule, and they should be at least 7-4 rolling into that, if not 8-3. So if they're 8-3 rolling into that game, then that makes all the difference in the world in this. So I do think that one is going to be way more up in the air because. Just the opportunity to take a bite out of Texas, even though it probably won't affect them playoff standing wise at all. Mm-hmm. Texas is probably going to the playoff no matter if they win the SEC or not. And then I think it's just all bets are off.
Yeah. Do you think if they lose 2 games, you think they're in?
Oh yeah.
Texas?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. If they lose to
I forget where. I mean, I always kind of forget we're at 12 now, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're in. Look. Any SEC team that goes 10-2 is going to be in this thing. Which could
so it's going to be them or Alabama or 3 of them, actually?
Yeah. So, there's going to be any SEC team that's 10-2. Unless they just get to the point where, because of the schedule that, doesn't overlap, that they have more, and there's going to be, one 10-2 team that gets bumped because of the guarantees. But, yeah, any SEC team that's 10-2 or better. And there are a couple, given their schedules, that they went 9-3 or better, they probably would be in too.
Ugh.
Like, I'll tell you this, if Florida was good enough to go 9-3 with this schedule, they would have probably been in because their schedule's the hardest ever created by man.
I mean, I think you could probably make that case for Oklahoma too.
Yeah, Oklahoma. Like, if they go 9-3 with their schedule, like, they might be in. Like, there might be a 10-2 Big 12 team that's like, we did it, and then they're like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
That was very cute. Don't look over. Don't look over here.
Yeah. Don't. Who got it? Was it like? Was it Liberty? Was it Ole Miss or Tennessee or someone that we don't know all that well? Like, no, it's Oklahoma.
So
Oklahoma.
You're gonna want to sit down for this.
Oh, yeah.
You know how y'all are all talking, and we don't need y'all, or
Well, here's the other thing that really does suck for the Big 12.
They wouldn't get in if they were 10-2 in the Big 12.
It is so. Texas liked to blame the Big 12 for the Big 12 not having all the respect over the last decade. But part of the problem that the Big 12 didn't have all the respect is people be like, well, Baylor beat a down Texas team. Like, Texas is down, so everybody else is good. And you're like, yeah, well, I mean, everybody's there, so – but because
you
Texas –
gotta beat who you play.
But because Texas wasn't good, then the schedule wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter who else was good that you beat, because Texas in particular wasn't good. Then the Big 12 was weak. So then Texas gets good again for the first time in 15 years, really good. They make it to the playoff in their last year, and they're going to make it to the playoff again in their first year in the SEC. And then the SEC is going to reap the benefits of this. But it doesn't disprove the rest of the Big 12 going, well, like, you guys weren't really pulling your weight for a long time and just unilaterally making us do things that you wanted and then going out and going 5-7. So what? You're the big boss of this, and you're 5-7. So
it's like when they found out that Tony Soprano was in therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.